Wait till you hear what we're making in this first segment, because we're a little less than a week away from Christmas, and chances are that you are starting to plan that holiday meal. We wanted to give you some inspiration for your side dishes and perhaps just some really delicious stuff. So we're with the executive chef of Tom's Tavern, Jason Choate, who welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I was, teasing everybody and saying, wait till you hear what we're going to make. We're making butternut mac and cheese.
Butternut squash mac and cheese is a great side dish for the holidays.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just jump right in and talk about some of the basic ingredients that we have.
Perfect. Well, we've got a cavatappi pasta, which I think holds the sauce really well. Some pureed butternut squash, smoked cheddar mac and cheese, or smoked cheddar and sharp cheddar. And then in the pan, we've already got a little bit of onion, some butter, a little bit of flour, and our half and half going. So a nice little thick.
A roux.
A roux, and actually now it's kind of a bechamel. Actually.
Okay.
So then we're just going to add our butternut squash puree.
Tell me about that. How do we get to that step right there?
So we took these beautiful butternuts here that come in from Yuma.
These things are huge,
aren't they? This time of year they're so big. So we've taken that, we peeled it and cored it, knocked it down into chunks and boiled it, and then we added it to our blender and pureed it.
Did you add any water or anything when you blended it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
There at the end, we do add just a little bit of our boiling liquid back into it just to make sure we get the consistency we're looking for.
So we're looking for, well, we've already kind of taken
almost a baby food consistency.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit more smooth than, say, a jelly or a jam.
Exactly. Then we're going to just knock our smoked cheddar and sharp cheddar cheese in.
This is wrong. That needs to go in there.
Yeah, we can't waste that.
You cannot leave cheddar in the bowl.
Especially the smoked cheddar that we smoke right in-house down at Tom's.
Now, what does the smoky flavor do to this? When combined, especially with the butternut.
What it does, it really brings out the sweetness and the earthiness of the butternut squash, and allows for this to speak up just a little bit above the cheddar, so that you actually do get the butternut squash notes in the macaroni and cheese.
It's more of an undertone.
But an undertone, the kids would never know it was there. So a great way to sneak a veg into your kids.
And then I want to talk, if we could go back a couple steps as you continue to kind of stir this in, that cheddar starts to melt. A lot of times people get a little intimidated when we start saying roux and bechamels because they think, well, I've tried it and it ended up, a glumpy mess.
Sure.
So troubleshoot for us the best way to kind of have a foolproof bechamel so that we can actually get to this point.
I'll tell you, the trick that it really is to make sure your milk is hot when you add it to your hot roux.
Okay.
So you've taken that butter, you've melted it, added your flour to it. You want that flour and butter mix to almost smell like popcorn.
Okay, and make a pretty good paste out of it?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit pasty, and it should be a ratio of 1 to 1. So 1 pound of butter to 1 pound of flour, or 1 cup of butter to 1 cup of flour.
Okay.
That's always the ratio for the roux.
Okay.
And again, to make sure that it's really creamy and smooth and no lumps, is to make sure that milk's nice and hot before you put it in.
And by hot, you mean like just piping hot?
Piping hot.
Okay.
You can put it in your microwave or in another pan on the stove.
That's a good tip. I had never heard that before. I want to grab a little fork because I want to show, without using my fingers, but maybe I will use my fingers. I want to show what, this is the noodle that you were using right here.
That's right. That's a cavatappi pasta.
And you kind of felt like that one worked best because it's going to be able to hold on to all of that.
That's right. That nice corkscrew shape is really going to allow it to hold on to our sauce.
Now with seasoning, is less more here?
Actually, no more is more here.
Okay.
This is something that you don't want a salt and pepper shaker on the table. We don't want folks to feel like they have to come back and re-salt it. So it's making sure that we really have just the right amount of seasoning, and it's coming through and tasting it as we go.
Should we be able to taste the pepper?
With white pepper, we want to make sure we use just a little bit because it gets sharp really quickly.
And then what did we just put over here that I'm...
This is a little bit of Japanese breadcrumb. It gives us a nice texture and a nice crunch on top of the macaroni and cheese. Okay. So we're toasting that. You've got a little chili powder in there, some corn oil, and then you're just putting a little bit of heat to it so that we toast it up some.
Okay. All right, well, let's plate this up.
Reach around.
Now, would we bake this at all?
Now, we would. We would bake this. We can just take it right into our casserole dish. Put our pasta in first.
Oh my goodness.
Pour our sauce right over the top of it.
Smell what I'm smelling. It smells so good. So this is going to go on top?
And then, yeah, if you could just sprinkle that right on top of there.
Alrighty.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And then through the magic of Sonoran living, we're going to go
It is magical here.
It is.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
It is.
And
so that
was
would
a
go into our
350?
oven.
350 for how long?
350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Again, we've got a hot sauce, a hot pasta. We're going to come right back, put it in there. We just want everything to kind of come together.
That looks delish. I will bite. It looks like you put a little bit of bacon on top.
And I did. I will always throw a little bacon on anything I can get away with.
Oh, man. That's good stuff. That's really good.
Perfect.
Heavy on the cheddar, just the way I like
That's
it.
right.
All right. A little bit later, he's going to show us how we can make some flavored butter. You had a fancy name for it. Tell me.
It's a compound butter or a hotel butter.
Oh, okay. That's tricky. Maybe I needed another cup of coffee when I talked to him this morning. All right, we'll get to the hotel or compound butter when we come back.